नामिनी नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिनी नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्य देशतारिणे ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगगन रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सगगन ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पदे गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसूते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ईश्वरा परम कृष्ण सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादिर गोविंदा सर्व कारण कारणम। Hare Krishna. By the costless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, we have successfully finished 49 slokas in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. That is Viswarupa, the universal form. So Krishna's mercy, we understood about the universal form very well in this chapter. But we understand from this Bhagavad Gita that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has pervaded this entire material universe in his universal form, in his Viswarupa. That is unmanifested form. So there is Avyakta. So Avyakta means which is not visible, Avyakta. But Krishna was there in front of Arjuna, there in the battlefield, in his own original form, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But even when Krishna comes in the human form, Krishna said in the 9th chapter we studied, Avajananti mamuda manushim tanamashita. The fools deride me when I descend in human form, because they don't understand about my superior nature. Parambhavam ajanantu mama bhuta maheswaram. So Krishna is the Maheswara. Krishna is the supreme controller of all living entities. That's what we understand from Bhagavad Gita. So for us, we are very fortunate with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. We are able to understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead without any doubt, without any confusion. Because with this knowledge, Krishna is giving us all the knowledge what we need, even in this material world, about the material senses, material, everything, all the Panjabhutas, earth, water, fire, air, space, everything, and mind, intelligence, and ahankara. So all these things, like what we are going to study in the 13th chapter also, which Arjuna asks, Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Kshetram Kshetrajnam cha Yetat Veditum Ichchami Jnanam Nyayam cha Kesam. So we understand about the Prakriti, Binna Prakriti, separated nature, material nature, Apara Prakriti, and also Para Prakriti. There is the Jiva Bhuta, there is the soul. So all this knowledge is becoming very, very clear to us from this Bhagavad Gita. So from this Bhagavad Gita, this material body is made up of this Mahabhuta, the grass body. So there is earth, water, fire, air, and space. So they are Mahabhuta. And we also have our grass subtle body, which is mind, intelligence, and ahankara, the false ego. So there is a subtle body. So senses are just a part of this Mahabhuta only. The senses which are made up of matter only. All our senses are made up of matter only. Like the eyes, the sense of seeing. So everything is completely explained by science. Everything we understand how where our senses are working is very, very clear. We understand very well. Especially the sense of seeing is very complicated like process. It's happening in our eye. There is so in our eyes there are so much of like like the photoreceptors are doing wonderful job of converting the light which is entering into our eye into electrical signals which goes into the brain. So everything is getting converted into electrical signals, everything. So the mechanoreceptors, chemoreceptors, photoreceptors, there are different receptors are there. So the touch sensation. So when we touch something, that is also there is sensory field, receptive field in our skin. So that senses that touch, and then it converts that into electrical potential, and then that travels into the our nerves, the neurons. Basically, it goes to the brain as electrical signals. So like that, the senses, the part of the senses we understand very well, that is also a part of this five five material, five matter. So based on earth, water, fire, air, space. So it's basically, if you look at the periodic table, it's only the sodium, potassium, and all those things. So when we get into too much of science, we understand that these senses are a part of this body. So the part of this grass body, but mind is not like that. So mind, intelligence, so ahankara, so they are all subtle. You cannot see that. You cannot. So that's what it is known as sukshma sarira. It is known as sukshma sarira, means it is the subtle body. Whereas this body, our material body, which is stula sarira, which is the grass body. So that's why Krishna is teaching all those things. Like this grass body is just made up of the dull matter, and the senses are above this body, because without senses working, so the atma, the soul, cannot perceive. So what you call it as perception. So sense perception, sensory perceptions. So the perception comes so only when the senses are working. If our senses are not working, we cannot even perceive these signals, like the photoreceptors, the light signals can come, or the sound signals can come. So all such things. But if our sensory receptors are not working, so we won't be able to perceive. So that way we understand very clearly that the senses are above the dull matter. So without senses, even if our body is working, we will not be able to interact with this world at all. So, but mind is above the senses, and intelligence is above the mind, and the soul is above the intelligence. So all this knowledge we understand very clearly from Bhagavad Gita only. So from Bhagavad Gita we understand very clearly, without any doubt, all this knowledge we are getting it. So we are not the body. So that's a very important scientific fact Krishna is teaching us in this Bhagavad Gita, that I am not this body, I am the soul. So that knowledge is very, very important knowledge we need to have. So that means in our life, every day, we should be doing everything with that knowledge, in that consciousness, with that understanding that I am the soul, I am not this body. So if you are not doing like that, if you just forget that we are the soul, if you just think that I am this body, and if you are just focused on this material veil, material sense objects, and simply going after the material sense objects, so that means we are not having the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So that means we are fools. That means we don't know what we are doing. So that means we don't know about our own self. So Krishna is teaching very clearly. Asocyan anvasochastvam prajnavadamscha basasi. So, gatasun agatasumscha nanu sochanti panditaha. While speaking like a learned person, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Asocyan anvasochastvam. Prajnavadamscha basase. That's what Krishna told Arjuna. You are talking like a learned person. You are speaking as if you know everything, but you are just worrying for no reason. Asocyan anvasochastvam. Because Gatasum agatasumscha nanu sochanti pandita. A pandita does not lament neither for the living nor for the dead. So because a pandita knows that we are not the body, we are the soul, and the soul is always there, and the soul can never be killed. Yayenam veti hamtaram, yaschainam manyate hatam, ubautau na vijanitho nayam khanti na hanyate. Anyone who thinks that the soul is the killer, yayenam veti hamtaram, yaschainam manyate hatam, or anyone who thinks that the soul can be killed. Anyone who thinks that the soul is the killer or the soul can be killed, both of them are not in knowledge. Ubautau na vijanitho. Because nayam hanti na hanyate. The soul can never kill and the soul can never be killed. That's what Krishna is teaching us. So we are that soul. We are forever. We are there forever. And there is no end. There is no destruction for the soul. But we can lead a life, a miserable life in this material world if you don't have the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So that's what we need to understand. So buddhinasat pranasyati, when we don't have the intelligence, buddhinasat pranasyati, we are lost ourselves, means we are struggling and suffering in this material world. So that way we need to gain that intelligence. We need to have that buddhi. So we need to act with intelligence. So then only we can be freed from the bondage to work, bondage to birth in this material world. Buddhyayuktaya partha karma bandham prahasyasi. So buddhyayukta, we need to act with intelligence. Buddhyayuktaya partha karma bandham prahasyasi. So Krishna is giving us this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So with this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we will be able to get intelligence. Because we'll be able to serve Krishna. We'll be able to connect ourselves with Krishna. And due to that, we will be able to gain intelligence because we will be attached to Krishna. When we are attached to Krishna, we have intelligence. When we are not attached to Krishna, when we forget Krishna, that means we don't have intelligence. Very simple, very easy to answer this question. When can we say that a person has got intelligence or not? When anyone who is always able to remember Krishna, when we are connected with Krishna, we have intelligence. And if we don't remember Krishna, we forget Krishna, we are not connected with Krishna, so that means we don't have intelligence. Because when we are attached to this material world, material sense objects, Krishna is saying that buddhi naso. Buddhi naso means intelligence is lost. Nasti buddhi. Nasti buddhi means intelligence is lost. Nasti buddhi ayuktasya nacha ayuktasya bhavanaga nacha abhavayataga santi asantasya kutas sukam. So nasti buddhi. So nasti buddhi means we will be losing our intelligence. Nasti buddhi ayuktasya. So that means when we are not connected with Krishna, when we are not able to serve Krishna, when we don't have the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, so when we are attached to material sense objects in this material world, so that means we have lost our intelligence. We don't have intelligence. That's what nasti buddhi. So anyone who is not a devotee of Krishna, who is attached to material sense objects, who is attached to this material world, so he cannot say that we cannot say that he's an intelligent person. An intelligent person means he should not be attached to anything in this material world. He should not be disturbed by anything in this material world. An intelligent person means should have the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So then one should not go after the material sense objects. We should actually try to please Krishna. So that should be our goal of life. The goal of life is only to please Krishna. So that is what called intelligence. Because such kind of intelligence, that is the real intelligence which can bring us peace of mind. Otherwise, there is no peace of mind. Because nasti buddhi ayuktasya, nacha ayuktasya bhavanaga, nacha abhavayataga santi, ashantasya kutas sukam. So when we are not connected with Krishna, there is no intelligence, there is no steady mind. When the mind is not steady, there is no peace of mind. When there is no peace of mind, where from happiness comes? That's what Krishna is asking. So the happiness comes only when our mind is peaceful. So Bhagavad Gita is teaching us, is giving us the complete knowledge, complete kit. It is complete instructions. Krishna is teaching here that how to connect ourselves with Krishna and how to perform all the activities for the satisfaction of Krishna, so that we can regulate everything, so that we can be all the time engaged in Krishna's service, so that our mind will not be disturbed at all, so that our mind will be very, very peaceful. So that is the way to achieve happiness, the real happiness. So that's what we are gaining. That's what we are getting. Every day we are able to even realize ourselves when we study Bhagavad Gita, when we understand Bhagavad Gita, when we are able to remember Krishna, when we are connected with Krishna. That means we are forgetting about everything in this material world. So we are so peaceful. Our mind is very, very peaceful. So peace of mind is the source of happiness. That's what we need to understand. So that happiness cannot be obtained, cannot be bought from anywhere. We cannot get the happiness from anywhere. The happiness has to come from within ourselves. So that is from the peace of mind. So our mind should be very peaceful. So only when we are able to give up all varieties of desires for sense gratification, which arises from mental concoction, which arise from the mental concoctions, manogata. प्रजहाति यदा कामान् सर्वान् पार्थ मनोगतान् आत्मन्येवात्मनो तुष्टः स्थितप्रज्ञः तदोच्यते. So this word sthita prajna is very often used, and also devotees ask many times what is the meaning of sthita prajna. So sthita prajna means steady intelligence. So when we get that steady intelligence, so prajahati yada kaman, one who is able to give up all varieties of desires. So that's what prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan, which are produced from mental concoctions. So sarvan partha manogatan atmanyevatmano tushtaga, one who is able to find happiness within the self alone, with the mind. So the mind should be satisfied within the self. So the mind should be able to find happiness within the self. So that's what atmanyevatmano tushtaga sthita prajnaha tatochyate. So that's what is known as sthita prajna. So that is the way to get the happiness. So that is the happiness should be from within our self. That's what is very, very important. So within ourself, we need to find happiness. So that's what in the 6th chapter, Krishna is explaining very clearly. Yatro paramathe chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pasyan atmani tushyati. So that's what yatra chaivatmanatmanam pasyan atmani tushyati. So one should be able to find happiness within the self. So that we need to understand how to find such happiness within the self. So if we are able to find that happiness within the self, so that's what that is yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. So what does that mean? So in the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. So this perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. So that's what yatra chaivatman atmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. So that is known as atma sukham. So one should be able to get that atma sukham, that happiness. So that is the real happiness. That is the inner happiness. That happiness stays forever. And that happiness, we cannot get it from anywhere. We cannot buy it from anywhere. We cannot get it from anywhere. That has to come from within ourselves. So that means we should be satisfied, self-satisfied. We should not be going after anything else in this material world, because our own Krishna is there with ourself. Krishna is there in our body as the super soul. So just connect with that Krishna, connect with our Paramatma. Just chant Hare Krishna and remember Krishna and offer prasadam to Krishna and study Bhagavad Gita and spread Bhagavad Gita. So that way all the time, if we are able to live in Krishna consciousness with the help of this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, so then we are very happy all the time, because we are not disturbed by anything in this material world. So that's why this Bhagavad Gita knowledge is very, very important. That's why Krishna's mercy we are getting this knowledge. So now in the 11th chapter, we finished 49 slokas. In the sloka number 49, what we studied, Krishna told Arjuna that Mate vyatha matha vyatha ma cha vimuda bhavo drishtva rupam goram nidin mamedam vyapeta bihi prita managa punastvam tadeva me rupam darshaya tadeva me rupam idam prapasya. That's what Krishna said. So now, Krishna is saying that you don't be disturbed. So mate vyata macha vimuda bhavo, because after seeing my drishtva rupam goram, goram means the horrible form. So drishtva, after seeing this horrible form, mamedam, my horrible form, you are disturbed. So now you don't get disturbed. So don't worry. I'm going to just be free from fear. Vyapeta bigi, prita managa, be pleased in your mind. So don't get disturbed. So punastvam tadeva me rupam idam prapasya. So now you see the form which you wanted to see, which you want to see. That's what Krishna is showing the form. Now next we are studying in the sloka number 50. So in the sloka number 50, Sanjay is saying now, Sanjaya uvacha ityarjunam vasudevastatoktva swakam rupam darshayam asabhuyaga asvasayamasa chabitamenam bhutva punaga saumya vapur mahatma. So Sanjay is saying that, so Arjunam means unto Arjuna. So to Arjuna. So Vasudeva, that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna Uttva means he said. So after saying like this, so after saying like what? You don't afraid, don't be like you come out of your fear. So now I won't show this this Ugra Rupa anymore. So that way Krishna is now started showing his Swakam Rupam Darshayam Asabhuyagam. So he was showing his Swakam Rupam, his own form. So that is the four-handed Vishnu form. So that's what Swakam Rupam Darshayam Asabhuyaga. So Aswasyam. Aswasyam means to encourage Arjuna, so to get him out of fear. So because Arjuna asked Krishna that Chaturbhujena Rupam. So I want to see your four-handed Vishnu form. So Giritinam Gadinam Chakragastam. So with helmets and with clubs and with chakra, the discs and with lotus flower, everything. I want to see your Deva Rupam. So that is that's what Swakam Rupam Darshayam Asa Bhuyagam Aswasyam Asam Aswasayam Asa Cha Beatam Enam Bhutva Punaga Saumya Vapur Mahatma. Then again he was showing his very beautiful original form, very beautiful form he was showing. So that's why Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, having spoken thus to Arjuna, displayed his real four-armed form. So that's what Swakam Rupam. And at last showed his two-armed form, thus encouraging the fearful Arjuna. So that's what Bhutva Punagam. So Bhuyaga. So Bhuyaga means in the second line, again he showed. And then Bhutva Punaga, again Krishna is showed his two-handed form. So that way now Krishna has come out of his universal form. So Krishna is showing the same original Krishna like he is showing to Arjuna. So that way by Krishna's causeless mercy, in these 50 slokas we have understood about the Viswarupa very, very well. But for us, we need our Krishna with his two-handed form. So we need our Krishna. We want to, because we want to play with Krishna. We want to be with Krishna, all those things. So we don't really need to see Krishna's universal form. So because it's anyhow, it's very fearful. So why we need to worry about seeing Krishna's universal form, and why we really need to think about who else has seen it, all such things. Arjuna has seen, we know that, and we know about Krishna's universal form. It is very fearful, and we know that Krishna is that time. So Kalosmi. So Krishna is that time. He is the destroyer of everything, destroyer of this world. So as time goes by, everything is getting destroyed. There is no doubt. We already know about it. But let us enjoy by seeing Krishna's two-handed form, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that way, by Krishna's mercy, we keep studying Bhagavad Gita, make progressing, and we are Krishna's causeless mercy. We are definitely going to go to Goloka. So we need to make use of this knowledge, Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna, I will stop now and we'll discuss if any questions are there. Hare Krishna.